Okay, welcome. We're going to look at the make or buy decision. It's part of Excel homework extra credit, actually, Excel extra credit number 4. So Granville Community College is considering outsourcing the maintenance of its buildings and other facilities to an outside firm for $300,000 per year. The annual budget is as follows. They've told us that there are 4 workers, 1 supervisor. Of course, there's 12 months in a year. They didn't have to tell us that. And they've given us the monthly values here. So it is important to realize in the problem solving here that I dropped this 12 in here, right? Because they gave us monthly values and we're comparing to an annual figure and being asked about the total annual savings. So we needed to annualize these monthly figures. That's why that 12 is there. So let's look at extending these. So they gave us the wages per worker, right? And they told us how many workers. So let's put the formula in there. Equals the amount per month per worker. The star is times. We'll highlight the 4 workers. And we need to do that 12 times to get the yearly figure, the annualized figure. Okay, and they've told us that the benefits are 35% of the wages. So we don't have to do that per month and then turn it into a year. We can just say that this is equal to this 120,000 times the 35%. Or the 35% times the 120. Doesn't matter which order you do it. And the maintenance, repair, and operating supplies are $2,000 per worker per month. So let's get that into basic, not plus, equals the $2,000 times the 4 workers times the 12 months. And hit enter. $96,000. That takes care of our direct expenses. All right, now let's go down into the indirect here. They told us there is 1 supervisor, and he earns $3,000, or she, $3,000 a month. So let's get that in here. So it equals the 3,000 times, now I could go up to the number of workers, but it's only 1, so we don't really need to. It's just times the 12 months, 36,000. And the benefits are a little bit more. He must have, she must have something extra that they get there. So equals her salary times that percentage to get the annual benefits cost for the supervisor. And then they have indirect expenses of other office expenses, and that's $500 a month. All right, as kind of a cost of everything they're doing in the office. So we can just say equals the $500 a month times the number of months, and bingo, $6,000. Okay, so now we can auto sum this. So I'll click the sigma button up here, and Excel will do its best to guess what I want. It sees a blank here, so it says, well, maybe old Mikey wants to grab this blob right here. It'll look adjacent. All the way around it, it'll look adjacent and take its best guess. So it's wrong because I also want the stuff after the break. So I'll just highlight that and double check it. Is it correct? Yes, it is. It's those are the cells I wanted, and I can hit return and get my total. So our internal costs, let's say then if we're doing a make versus buy, make means really insourcing, right? Insourced cost. So the insourced cost of these services, us doing it ourselves, is $314,400 is our budget. And the bid from the other supplier is $300,000. So we don't really need the formula, but since we're working in Excel, let's do it. So our total cost for the year is simply transferring this number down, saying equals the total. And the difference would be equal to our cost minus the bid, $14,000. You could do it the other way and get a negative, but you get the idea. You find the difference. So then there's a question at the end here, right, that says, what other reasons might besides cost might Granville look at when deciding whether to outsource these maintenance activities? And frankly, there's a lot of them, right? But outsourcing is never something done lightly. It's a very strategic activity, whether it's services, support stuff like this, or whether it's core stuff. It's always a big decision and never should be taken lightly. So if I saw this and I were running this shop, I know what thoughts would be in my head. You might want to ask yourself, what would you do, right? You've done an analysis and you're thinking about, should I outsource or not? And the only way to make sense of this is to do this kind of an activity. Get some bids, really understand what it would cost to let that go and buy it instead of doing it, and then to look at your own internal costs. Now, in this case, as we've talked about in other modules, hard cost is one of the factors that goes into good decisions. Hard cost should always be known so we can weigh it into the decisions. These are businesses. Cost matters. But there's all sorts of other soft criteria that goes into many decisions. And I would take the position here personally that for $14,400, that if we have people that are part of our organization that we like, that we talk to at the coffee machine, and that come by our desk and stop and chat about what their kids or their grandkids are doing, and they're part of our business community, that I would sure not disrupt that over $14,000. If you would do that over $14,000, you may find that sometime you don't have the respect of the people that work under the organization you're leading. So I would think for $14,000, we have no justification to lay off employees and disrupt our culture of our business. Okay, so that was on maintenance contract. On other areas, other criteria comes in, right? So it could be that we need to outsource things for all the other reasons that came up in the lecture, some of the benefits of outsourcing. It's just important to always remember that it's never black and white. It's always gray. There's always trade-offs. If we go after this $14,000, there's going to be some negatives, right? There's going to be some hits to our morale. There's going to be some people that are genuinely harmed by that decision. Is it worth it? Well, it sure doesn't sound like it to me. Okay, that's the end of our little make or buy decision, and we'll wrap it up there. There will be one more to get you through the Excel. I'm splitting them up into buckets this week so that you can find what you're after easily and not have to search in a long video for it. And that is all she wrote.